You are listening to Gamertag Radio's E3 2014 coverage, live from the Los Angeles Convention Center.
Don't make me.
All right, all right. So now we have a special guest here. We have the head of Xbox, Phil Spencer. Phil, how you doing, man? Welcome to the show.
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
All right. So I noticed that during all the press conferences, every company been mentioning a lot of community feedback. And I think it's because what happened last year with you guys. Based on that, you guys made a lot of great changes. I think. So, how important was that sending that message to the gamers this time around?
It's something as the head of studios, which is my job before head of Xbox. You get a lot of feedback from people when you put out a game about whether they like it, what they didn't like. So it's just kind of been always how I think about building products is you build games and you talk to people either before you're launching and after you're launching. So as the head of Xbox, I want to think about Xbox the same way. I want to get the feedback from people. And as you said, they were vocal last summer. And at the same time, I watched how the platform team was doing monthly updates to the platform and making it better every month. And I said, well, if we're going to prioritize the features that we're going to do every month, the best place is to go ask the people who are actually using the platform, hey, either a developer or a gamer, what do you want to see us do in the next month? We even put up a feedback tool this week. It allows people to go up on the website and look at the features and help us prioritize. I think that's great. It's critical to our success.
Now, I felt with the media briefing, you really kind of got back to basics. It was all about games, and I know the Xbox One is considered the all-in-one entertainment device. You even pre-E3 announced all the new apps that'll be coming for entertainment, this year. But is it safe to say that moving forward with Xbox One, the focus will remain on gaming?
Absolutely. Every year. I know that the customer that has to love our product every year is that gaming customer. Somebody who wants to play video games on their television screen through a console, I want Xbox One to be the best place for them. But I also know that when people they do other things on their television, and we've architected Xbox from the beginning to do other things and do them really well. But if I don't win with gamers, if we're not the best place to play games, none of that other stuff's going to matter. So me, it's about sequencing our focus. Gamers are number one. I want to be a great place for video. I want to be a great place for music. I want to be a great place for things like Skype and Twitch and all that. But I got to win with games first. That's got to be the number one priority.
Now, you removed Kinect a few weeks ago. You made that announcement, and I understand your reasons for doing it. But since it has been removed, what are you going to do to incentivize gamers? Like let me backtrack and say this. I wasn't a fan of Kinect.
Okay.
I always felt it should have been an optional device from day one.
Okay.
Just simply because in my family environment, it wasn't 100% reliable.
Okay.
So my wife, if she says Xbox on more than twice, she's never going to say it again.
Right.
Type of thing.
Right.
So I understand why you took it out of the box, and I actually do appreciate that. But what are you going to do to give that incentive for someone that does buy the Xbox One without Kinect to now say, I need to go buy Kinect. I need to add it to my system?
It's a really good question because I think it centers around what Kinect has always, whether it's actually included or not included, when somebody uses Kinect, they've got to find it to be a delightful experience and worth what they spent on it. Our decision to offer Xbox without Kinect bundled in at $399 was all about giving consumers choice.
Right.
Because like you say, hey, this isn't. I'm still on the fence. I know I want an Xbox One. I know I want to play Halo and Sunset Overdrive and Forza. Like I want to go play these games, so I'm going to buy an Xbox One. I'm not sure yet about Kinect, and we're giving you the option to start off without Kinect. We're still going to continue to evolve the Kinect experience, both with games. We had Harmonix on stage. We've got a bunch of Kinect playable games here on the floor people can go try. We're going to stay invested in what Kinect is and continue to evolve it. But I want you to be able to make the buying decision when you think it's right for you, and that's what this decision was all about.
And that's great, and that just leads me up to my follow-up on that. You mentioned, and I always say it wrong, Harmonix.
Harmonix.
Yeah.
What do you say?
I say Harmonix.
Harmonix?
I don't know why.
I would say Alex Rogopoulos. We're going to rename your company. It's Harmonix.
But speaking on them, just specifically, I mean, obviously Dance Central, is a big.
And Fantasia's coming.
Fantasia's coming. But where's the incentive for other developers now to want to continue using Kinect if they can't be guaranteed that it's going to be in the box 100%?
Games sell because they reach people at kind of a very soulful level and create fun and delight and competition and all the things that we love about playing games. The things that enable that game, I think in a developer's mind and a gamer's mind, are kind of secondary. right? It's not, and I've used this example before, and I don't know if people like it or not. For Alex, it's kind of in his history of like Guitar Hero. He was a massive franchise for a long time. He had to go buy a big plastic guitar to play Guitar Hero. I didn't mind because I love playing Guitar Hero, right? So, and it wasn't about, hey, we're gonna come out with a guitar, and then people are gonna figure out whether they want to play games with it. No, it was all in one package. Dance Central was that for Kinect, and I'll just stay with Alex for a while. Kinect Sports, another huge Kinect franchise. If you look at those two franchises, you say, I don't play those games, it's just not my style. Then there are other games. D4 is coming. We've got Fru on the floor. We've got iDarb on the floor. We've got other games coming. And at some point, you're either going to find a game that you really love, and Kinect's going to be the thing that enables that, or you're not. Now, for other people, they're going to say, I Skype with my family, and they're in Europe, and I'm here, and I want a great Skype experience. Kinect enables that. I love TV and the voice commands I get through Skype, through Kinect, and those are things that are really important to me because all I do is watch TV. We've had over 1 billion voice commands issued on Kinect so far. So it's different people will find the things that they use Kinect for. Some people purely for games, some for other uses. I just want to give them the option of when it kind of tips over that, there's enough things going on with Kinect now that I find it interesting, then I can buy it. And if that's not day one, then you buy the console without Kinect. If somebody came to me and said, what's the console I should get if I'm only going to buy one? I think you should buy the console with Kinect because in the end, that's going to be the best full-featured experience. But I'm not going to force you to do that. You can buy it at $399 without Kinect.
All right. Let's talk about games. You guys announced Phantom Dust. I'm a huge fan of Phantom Dust.
There you go.
But I noticed a lot of people in the crowd were like, what's Phantom Dust? So I had to explain to them what the game's
They will
about,
learn what Phantom Dust is.
But why Phantom Dust?
Because it's a magical game. So Ken Lobb, it was great to have Ken come out on stage. He was a creative director in studios, a long time game industry, was at Nintendo. It's a game he and I used to play back on the original Xbox. There's certain games in our past that we kind of look at and we think before their time is kind of a cheesy phrase. So I don't know if that's it, but for some reason didn't hit the commercial success that I think they should. And then you go back and you play them and you find the core mechanic of the game really works. And in a lot of ways, I think Phantom Dust is almost more a 2014 game than it was when it came out, just from the play style. So we looked at that and said, we should bring that game back. Fudasugi-san, who was the original creator of Phantom Dust, we just finished Crimson Dragon with him at launch of Xbox One. So we're asking what he thought. He was interested in giving us some feedback and some input on the game as well. So we said, okay, let's get this kind of the band back together and go create this game. I agree with you. It's a little bit I don't know, indie's the right term or something.
I call it underground.
Underground, that's a better term. Yeah. I think people, when they get to play, the cool thing about Phantom Dust is if you have the original Xbox game, you can actually put it in your 360 right now and it plays.
And it plays, yeah.
It's one of the back compact games. So if people don't know what this is, there weren't a lot of copies sold here in the U.S., but I don't know, eBay or something, you could go grab one, or GameStop. And play it. I think people will see, they'll understand. It takes a little while to get into the game, but once you get in, I think people will get it.
Yeah, one thing too I noticed, I was very surprised that you guys announced Conquer is going to be available. Was it for Project Spark?
Yeah.
What's that about?
I got this idea as I was talking to some people in the community, actually, and they said, hey, you guys have a ton of franchises in your catalog that you probably can't go and build all of them. You should give the tools for us to go build them. Let the community go build them. And Spark's a tool for game creators. So Sax Person, he runs the Sparks team, and we were talking, and I know there's been a little bit of confusion, or people really wanted a full Conquer game. And it doesn't mean we're never going to do a full Conquer game, or it's not announcing we are doing it. But I said, we've got this over 1 million people in Project Spark. How about if we give them the assets to go? They can go recreate the Conquer game if that's what they want to do. They can create new Conquer scenarios. And if it works, if people like it, I could see us doing that with other old franchises where maybe it's not in our portfolio right now, but we decide, why don't you guys take the assets and go riff on it and see what you want to build?
Right. Well, I want to transition and keep it on games, but talk about the worst kept secret in the industry, the Master Chief Collection. And I want to spin it this way. I mean, really, and that's how I want to spin it. In that, Engadget broke the story. Excuse me. And how does that affect you internally, as far as, all right, this has been announced, you obviously know it's coming, so you can't deny it, but as a whole, with leaks big like that, was there ever a point where you figured, do we get out in front of this and announce it early, or do you think we need to just go ahead and keep this as an E3 surprise.
It is, and well, you guys are in the press, so it's even for you guys. Sometimes you know about things that you're not, like, embargoes and other things. So even you guys sometimes have to pretend like you don't know something.
Right.
Then when somebody asks you a question, the leaks bum me out just because I like to be able to tell our full story. And sometimes the leaks come out and people, since we're not telling the story, and people who have maybe some of the information, not all of the information, sometimes the leak causes more confusion than help. The other side of it, though, is people love this industry and they love the games that we're building. And the reason leaks are interesting is because people are passionate about the information. So I don't think you can take one side of it without taking the other. Meaning you're not going to find people who people love games and they're going to want to know information as soon as they can. I want to have a great E3, and when things that we were going to say kind of leak out a little bit early, I feel like, well, it would have been nice if that could have been just this wow moment on stage. In the end, it's going to be a great thing when it comes out in November. And I think people are really going to love what their teams put together at $60. You get the 4 games all unlocked. I think that's the most important part.
Well, I think I just want to say as a side note, since I got you right here in front of me, the fact that you're giving that package of the Master Chief Collection at $60, just the value that's there. I mean, because I'm a huge Halo fan. I mean, I can take you all the way back to 2001 when I saw it buggy out on the show floor.
Yeah, it was buggy too, wasn't it? It was buggy.
So, I mean, I think from a personal standpoint, more of those type of things, because I know a lot of people rail against all Microsoft and Sony is doing is just throwing remakes at it to try and create content, but there is that nostalgia factor there.
Well, I think $60 is. I'm glad that price feels like a fair price to people, because that's what I wanted. I wanted to put something out there so that people would start off their Xbox One. They've got all 4 of the Master Chief games. But on the remake thing, like, I think about 2014. That's why I'm so excited about something like Sunset Overdrive, because they say here's a game that nobody's ever played before, brand new IP, AAA. We're fully invested, working with a huge developer in Insomniac, coming this fall. Brand new game. So you got Master Chief, which is like our history laid out in one game. You got Sunset Overdrive, brand new IP, big mega franchise. You got Forza coming, driving games, and then we got some smaller games like we've talked about, like this one, Ori, that's up here on the screen. We've got a ton of games coming this fall in 2014, so people can go play. And I think there's a mix of some things that people have seen before, some brand new things that people haven't seen, and I think that's what makes it fun to be an Xbox One owner.
Yeah, I was listening to your interview with Major Nelson. Was it on Sunday night?
Yeah.
And you mentioned that you were watching a lot of past press conferences to get you come up with ideas and motivation. And which of those press conferences was the one that you actually liked and got ideas and from that?
It was interesting. The further back you go, it kind of strips back a lot of the show that we've seen evolve over the last few years. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I even went back to, what was it like, Rob, 04 or something, where you had, he's not paying attention, but
thanks, Rob.
You had the Halo guys coming out, was it 04, coming out in front of a drape, right? They just walk out from behind the curtain, and with controllers in their hand, and they play a game. There's no big screen behind them. There's no bombastic sound. Mm-hmm. They're just playing. And then you go to something like the Hollywood Bowl, and we opened it outdoor with the Halo music and all of that, which was more about the art of the game than it was some executive or something else. Mm-hmm. So, I was kind of looking at, I think, and our show was a big stage event. I thought the team that put the stage together was fantastic, but I wanted the content to really be about the content. I didn't want it to be about me. I didn't want it to be about PowerPoint. I didn't want it to be about a bunch of executives. I wanted it to be about the games that we were going to show on stage. Mm-hmm. And I kind of got that from going back, because I think that's the roots of what E3 was about.
I have to say, I think this was your best conference since 2009, I think.
Thanks.
Thanks. So great job on that. Yeah, you guys really focus on just the games and sending the message to the fans. So
thanks. I appreciate that.
Just if I can add on to that. I think if you go back and look at what you guys did back at the Santa Monica E3 in 07, there was a big focus with community things going on during that event. I mean, I don't know if you have anything planned here that we haven't heard about, but I think coming from a gaming community standpoint, getting more people that aren't in the press, that are just enthusiasts, that are just passionate about Xbox and video games in general, getting them more involved with things. Or because, like, I can tell you from a personal thing, Halo 3, for example, we're at the, I think it was the Viceroy, whatever that hotel was.
Yeah.
I remember Frankie, who I just saw, pulled a bunch of us to the side, threw us in a room, and took us through that first level of Halo 3.
Yeah.
You know, that's amazing. When I think it was Fable 2 at the time, Peter Molyneux took us up into a suite and just was talking to us, and he actually spoiled a bunch of stuff. But
that's Peter.
Fun, but those kind of things is like, now that you're the head of Xbox, I think a lot of people, just from reading social media, which you're very active on, by the way, that's the vibe people are starting to get again, and I think that's exciting.
Great. No, I think about things like 0 Hour was something I really loved. Right, I was too. And then the after our press briefing here, we did a Twitch broadcast with just the kind of core MVP fans. So we brought them all down, did the Twitch thing, gave them all passes to the E3 show. And it's not. I'm not trying to buy anybody's loyalty in doing that.
I understand.
Right. It's just that I know who's buying our console. I know who's buying our games, and I wanna make sure that they know. Like, when I'm on Xbox Live, P3 is my gamertag. People get on. I'll talk to them. I'll play games with them. Like, I want to Twitter. I get tons of people. Some of them tell me I'm an idiot. And it's. But like, you got to have the good feedback with the bad feedback. I don't want to filter it so I just hear what I want to hear. Then you're not really in touch with people. So I agree with you. I think the community stuff is more and more important. And now, I mean, we've had the internet for a while, but there are just so many ways for us to reach both directions, for consumers and fans to reach us and vice versa. I think we got to take advantage of that.
Now, I got to make sure we get this in before we run out of time. Last year, your original plan, before when all this started with the Xbox One, you had the plan for game sharing.
Yeah.
I thought it was fantastic. I just think the messaging last year wasn't up to speed, which is part of the reason why we are where we are today. Is there any chance that's going to return in some form?
We looked at the digital features that we had talked about last year, and as a gamer, there were a lot of those features that I think really resonated. Were smart features for people who have a lot of games and maybe play on a couple consoles or have a bunch of people in the house or want to share with friends. And as I look at our monthly update roadmaps and other things, those kind of features are in our roadmap. There is a little bit of a challenge now that you've got DRM on a disc, and like, how does that game play? We got hung up last year on kind of the enabling features around, well, when does it have to connect and all of that, and connect to the internet. When in the end, I think the feature that we really cared about, that people like, I've got this collection of content that I can do family sharing, I can share with my friends. I mean, there were a bunch of things that we had ideas around. I haven't given up on those ideas. There's some complexity now that you've got these discs around that have DRM that you got to figure out. But it's definitely part of our map with the overall product.
Just if I could just throw a side note in it, because you keep bringing up the disc, I guess the one thing that we talk about amongst ourselves is the game sharing returning, but only on the digital side.
You could do something like that.
Yeah. Basically, you're giving the consumer the choice. Hey, if you still want to buy a disc, you can do that and play games. But if you want to enable all these other cool features, here's game sharing on the digital side. Xbox Live Gold.
No, you're right. It's the nature of the beast where we are. But now you're in the spot where I bought a Rise disc from you, and now my Rise. You didn't tell me at the time the Rise disc wasn't going to be able to do what Rise Digital is going to do. So as you do these things, and that's not an excuse for not doing it. I'm just like, any of these features, as I work through them with the team, I want to make sure I'm trying to do it the right way. So people should just know that we are thinking about these features. They haven't gone away. We added functionality last year and adding physical DRM, and I think in the end result we shipped a better product because of the feedback that we received from people. But we're still looking at digital distribution, preload, like the things that people are always asking about. Those are things that we want to get to. It's just at the right time, and some of the things you want to make sure you land them in the right way, because you want it to be a win for people.
Well, last question. What are your thoughts of the Sony and Nintendo press conferences? Nintendo is a digital event, but
I thought I'll start with the Nintendo one because it was this morning when we're doing this. And I love the way they opened it with the fight scene between. Cool. I thought it was funny. Right, I thought they did a nice job. They didn't take themselves too seriously. Yeah. I mean, they're serious business, so I'm not at all taking a shot at them. But I thought it was just nice the way they were irreverent. They've got such an amazing first-party catalog at Nintendo. I mean, it's over the years, I think the strongest first party out there with the IP, the characters that they have. And I thought they did a nice job with the digital. So it's a little bit different not having a crowd that's responding when they're doing stuff. But, I applaud them for trying to do something new. I thought Sony had a nice show, right? It was a lot of content in there. They kind of they had games, they had their video stuff, they showed a couple different devices. I thought they did a nice job showing games and when they're going to come out. It's a good time to be a gamer. We spent 90 minutes on games. We really focused on 2014 games that are coming out this year. Saw a lot of good games on Sony's platform and a lot of good games on Nintendo's platform. And it's just a good time to be a gamer right now.
Awesome, man. Well, competition is great for all of us.
Competition is
right?
great. No, there's no doubt about that. It's good for us too, right? It keeps raising the bar.
Definitely, man. Well, Phil, I just want to say thanks for taking your time to be on our podcast. It was fun. It was cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Gamertag Radio for the win. It's good.
Awesome, man. Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.